from wherever you're watching me. Let me just adjust my lights. Yeah. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to Joy Victory livestream, Joy Victory TV. My name is Joy Victory, and I'm genuinely happy and grateful that you've chosen to spend your time with me here today as my at my 2026 live stream. Whether you're joining in or watching this at a later time, karibuni sana, karibuni sana. This live stream is very special to me. It is my very first live stream of the year 2026, and it also marks the beginning of a new season on this channel. From this point forward, you can expect weekly episodes here on J Victory TV, conversations that are thoughtful, grounded, honest, and rooted in real life. I also come from a mental health background, but tonight it's not about therapy, it's not about diagnosis, as some of you always say on my email. It's not about clinical language, but it's also not a mental health session. But this is a life conversation because long before mental health becomes a crisis, it is shaped quietly by how we live and how we think, what we tolerate in life, and what we actually repeat on daily basis. So this space is for adults. It's not for kids, but also kids are allowed in here. It's a safe space for everyone. And for people who are tired of a surface level advice. Yeah, I saw that on TikTok, I guess. And also it's a platform for people who want to live with intention, who want to live with faith, who want to live with inner stability and not perfections. So as you settle in, feel free to say hello in the chat box. Let me know where you're watching from, and if you find that this conversation speaks to you, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. Right now we are at 291 subscribers. We're actually doing very well. And so you subscribing is not just to support the channel, but it's also to stay connected to this journey we are building together, a mental health family. Hi Noel, how are you doing? Hi, is it Mburu? Let me say Mburu. Hi Mburu, and hi Eddie. How are you doing? Karibuni sana. Welcome to my very first live stream of the year 2026. And I hope we're going to talk about gratitude jars, gratitude books, gratitude, what else? Vision board and vision plans. Yeah. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We need to have a joint live stream with you. Yeah. Anyone who is here, kindly subscribe to my girl's YouTube channel. She's just here. Please click at her name. You'll see her description and kindly subscribe to her channel. Yeah. So today we are talking about something different. We're talking about the practical life lessons that we have. Actually, the practical life habits that support the inner stability. Yeah. So one of the most misunderstood truths about emotional well-being in this life is stability is built through lifestyle. Yeah, we need to plan one. True. So I was talking about the kind of a notion that we have that stability is built through lifestyle and not moments of motivation. Yeah. So Brian Sang, hi moms, hi, how are you, Brian? Kindly subscribe to my channel. That is one way of you supporting my channel. And also don't forget to like. That's the most important. Yeah. I'm still waiting for some other people to join in. Karibuni sana. If you're new here, if you're a returning subscriber, this is how we do it. Thank you so much for coming back. I really do appreciate. Yeah. So I was actually talking about the practical habits that we need to work on in as much as we're trying to have a good 2026. Yeah. So many people out here are reaching for a life that is going to for the to calm them down before they feel better. Where Naoko lives, I don't understand. Yeah. So what was I saying before I what was I saying? I was saying that many people are waiting for life to calm them down before they feel better. And what is actually what exactly they miss is that life rarely slows down on its own. Yeah. So what actually sustains us is not the absence of problems, it's the presence of grounding habits that help us carry life without constantly breaking under it. You understand? Yeah. So a practical life habit is something that quietly supports you even on days when your mood is low, your faith at times feels shaken or tired. Let me say that way. Your energy at how you handle things gets limited, and these habits don't announce themselves. They don't trend mostly, but what they actually do is they form a backbone of a grounded life in someone's life. You understand? So this basically includes how you wake up every day, how you transition between tasks, different tasks that you perform, how you rest, your ability to rest. Like I don't know how many of you take their time to rest, and this also happens to how you speak to yourself and how you feel about yourself, and lastly, how you end your day. So mostly, a chaotic lifestyle eventually produces a chaotic inner world that we live in. And no matter how strong someone appears on the outside, living practically means it's gonna be kinda difficult. You understand? So for you to be able to embrace life at a different angle, you need to ask yourself what drains you constantly. You also need to know what restores you even gently. Yeah. Kenneth Kibet said hi. How are you, Kenneth? And kindly like my live stream. Don't leave without subscribing. Thank you so much. At times you also need to know what restores you when it's gentle. Okay, what restores you gently or not gently. And also you also need to at times like ask yourself, what is that thing that you keep on doing that no longer serves what kind of life that you want? Happy New Year, Kenneth. Yeah, being calm in the chaos. Yeah, that's true. Actually, I lacked that word when I was speaking my point. Thank you so much. Happy New Year to everyone who has joined in. Yeah. So with this narration that I've just like said, I'm gonna talk about living with intentions in a distracted world. Now, we all view life at a different way, and we have the intentions that we have for our own selves, and mostly life can be chaotic, and even the world can be so noisy, the world that you're in. So there is constant information, there is constant comparison, there is constant pressure to actually perform, to achieve something, maybe at a certain time. And also there is too much pressure when it comes that makes you explain yourself. And mostly you'll find yourself over explaining things. Yeah. This year, let's target main points. We have to meet targets and resolutions. True to that. Really true. Yeah. And that's why I just like chose to start up this live stream to help us talk about this. Thank you so much, Ken. Yeah. So what was I saying? I was talking about the constant pressure that we put on ourselves that really makes us do a lot when it comes to achieving some things, when it comes to performing some things that we have to accomplish, when it comes to making people understand us. So mostly we tend to explain ourselves to a point that we over explain things to people, and at times you can make too much explanations without talking something meaningful. You understand? So without intention, it's very easy to live reactively and mostly responding to everything but directing nothing at all. As I've said, we tend to over explain to a point and then we don't speak something that is even meaningful. Yeah. So I'm actually talking about intentional living. Yeah. So intentional living actually means allowing yourself to be shaped slow by only urgency. You just need to be shaped by what is urgent to you and not to everyone around you. And it actually means you choosing what matters before everything starts demanding your attention. So when I look at parents, most of them will always embrace this. Let's say right now it's back to school, it's a back to school thing. So most people out here are really focused on now sending their kids back to school. So the pressure that is directed to them is them settling their kids before any other thing. You understand now? Yeah. So and it actually, I know someone might be asking me what an intentional life is. Maybe you have a bigger question, and I don't know how to put it, but I just know it's the one that maybe gives you so much energy when it comes to, like, you keep on asking yourself what deserves your energy in every season that you encounter in life. Embrace without being influenced by it. True to that. Yeah, that's true. Thank you so much, AD. So when you live life without intention, mostly you may look busy, but deep inside you're very empty. And when you actually live life with intentions, it even becomes more quiet, and you find yourself having a successful meaning. You understand? So people will actually witness what you've achieved by maybe a certain time frame that you had. So quickly, I'm gonna talk about vision boards and vision plans, and I'm gonna just be quite practical about it. I'm not sure. So if you have anything to add to it, kindly use the chat box to add to this. So most of the vision boards we've seen are the kinds of the aesthetic kinds, for lack of a better word, that we keep on seeing on social media, but the kind that actually shapes, but most of them don't actually shape how you live. So I want to talk about now the vision board that shapes how we live. And a vision board is mostly about manifesting fantasies, because I came to realize that most people out here create vision boards basing on the fantasies they wish to live and not the reality they have. So the vision board I'm trying to talk about here is about you clarifying directions and not just living fantasies. And at the end of the day, you'll find yourself not achieving the fantasies you had, and you'll start saying that maybe the year was not a good year for you. You understand? So, a mature vision board is basically the one that begins with honesty. And before you think about what you really want, you must really acknowledge where you are. And most people who have actually drawn vision boards or written vision plans, they always skip this step whereby they need to be true to themselves, and mostly they end up getting frustrated with the vision boards and the vision plans that didn't match what they imagined to be a reality. And that's actually what I tried. Actually, that is what I was saying, that it's fantasies they created when drafting these vision plans. So mostly, I remember I was listening to a friend of mine last year when he was giving people this. He was actually differentiating between vision boards and vision plans. That is Benihino Lubengo, and he was explaining to people, but I don't think he educated them on how to create them. And maybe by what I know, I'm just like gonna tackle on how when creating a vision board, how you can like break your life and make it clear into some areas of your life. So mostly you need to like make sure that it's faith and spirit. Make sure, okay, the first thing you need to do, I remember when I was drafting mine, I started by like ensuring it has a faith and spiritual growth in it. So mostly you also need to like work on your faith before creating these. And also you need to work on the personal character and discipline. You can't be creating something. Let's talk about, most people actually out here draft vision boards that includes adventure. Most of them like traveling. Maybe you're wishing to board a flight, to book a flight maybe to a different destination, but you don't have that discipline in you, you don't have that consistency in you. How are you going to achieve that? Yeah. So like another thing you also need to consider when creating a vision board is the relationships and the community that surrounds you. Some people plan vision boards with imaginations that their friends are gonna help them achieve this maybe at the end of the year, or maybe by the time they're done with everything, and true to it, they don't really help. So you also need to work on the finances and your stewardships. Create a vision board basing on where your hands can stretch. And also, when creating this vision board, consider yourself healthy and also rest. Rest is the most important thing. You need to also rest your mind when it comes to this. You don't have to keep on thinking when things at times are not working out. So yeah, you need to rest. You need to work on your health. Ensure that you have a good health, and learn the art of purpose and service. Let it be something that is going to be of service to you, and not just like you're going to spend your money on something that isn't meaningful to you. So yeah. So remember that a simple vision board that really has what is honest about you needs to be a healing vision board. It needs to make you get structured, and also it needs to give you or boost your confidence, and maybe add to your courage and confidence. You understand? Okukyojuro, hi. How are you doing? Where are you watching me from? And kindly don't leave without subscribing and liking. Karibu sana. So in short, when it comes to vision boards and vision plans, your vision board should include words mostly. It should include scriptures and also reminders. So it shouldn't just be more of the images that we've seen out here. Most people will actually show you the images of how a vision board looks like, and most of it is fully drawn. So at least let it have some scriptures that resonate with how your faith is. Let it have the words of affirmation, and also let it have words of encouragement that you can do it. Let it not just be full of images. Let it speak something to you. Let it speak to what you're becoming and who you're becoming. And also, let it not just be something to put too much pressure on you. And let it be something that is going to speak to something that you want to acquire maybe at that particular time frame. So, yeah, a good vision board basically doesn't put pressure on you. It mostly makes you stay grounded and staying centered. Mostly you find yourself centered. Yeah. So that's basically it about vision boards. If you have something to add on it or maybe share on it, use the chat box. Someone out here might be getting too much help. So yeah. Another thing I wanted to tackle, when it comes to this year 2026, for my audience, I wanted to talk about planning a life that is quite realistic and sustainable. I don't know if that's really what I wanted to say, but I think it's that. So planning mostly is often misunderstood as a way of controlling. You understand? Because you can be planning something else, and then people out here will see that maybe you're trying to control things. Elizabeth Wanjugu said hi. Hi Elizabeth, kindly subscribe to my channel and don't leave without liking. Thank you so much. So I was talking about planning, and as I've said, most people will always see it as a way of control, but I don't think it's the case in here. In reality, planning is usually an act of self respect, and it's how you communicate, or let me say, how you how you care about your future self. That is most importantly. Okay, it's the most important thing when it comes to planning. And a mature plan allows flexibility. It doesn't allow control. It makes you feel centered, as I've said before. It acknowledges your levels of maybe discipline, and also it acknowledges your responsibilities and the seasons that you need to rest. Alexis Aiden, nice. Thank you so much, Alexis. I'm glad you like it. Happy New Year. Or, okay, you have 294 subs. Thank you so much, Alexis. I really do appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, so don't leave without liking too. What else was I saying? Uh, about planning. I'm talking about planning. Uh, Planning basically does not mean everything is going to go according to how you scheduled it. Planning doesn't mean that everything is going to be a walk over the park. At times you're going to experience hits, at times you're going to experience the norms, and you just have to make them normal. You understand? You may experience the hits, the misses. So yeah. Another thing, it also means that you have a source of reference when a reference point, mostly when life feels overwhelming, especially to you. And instead of overwhelming yearly goals, I encourage you to just plan yourself. You can usually use a yearly theme, and I thank God for churches. Most churches will always have a year. Find some churches saying that this is a year of fulfillment, this is a year of dominion, so such. So you can choose to maybe just have a year of it's a yearly theme, and mostly when working towards it, it helps you get how should I say it? It keeps you going mostly. Other thing, you need to also have a quarterly focus on areas. Maybe the first trimester of the year you can like you can choose to do this and maybe achieve this by the end of 3 months, and then now when it comes to the second 3 months again, you also have a different thing that you're looking at, you're aiming at achieving. You understand? Also when it comes to the third 3 months, and lastly the last 4 months, the last 3 months again of the year. So you can choose to have that kind of a focus. And you can also choose to have a weekly check-ins. And a good example is the same way I've just said that I'm going to be uploading weekly episode till the year comes to an end. So yeah, you can ask yourself regularly how these things work on you, how and actually what really worked according to how you planned, and what didn't plan, and how are you going to tackle these things that didn't plan. So remember that life is not a straight line. Mostly it's hilly, it can be dusty, it can be rocky, and planning actually will give you something to return to when things feel scattered. Yeah. And I like telling people around me to be grateful. And I'm going to talk about gratitude as just a daily practice that you need to also have in mind. And gratitude at times is misunderstood for forced positivity. Some people don't like appreciating things. Some people won't find any meaningful reason to be grateful for anything that happens. Yeah. How how do you bring how do you bring about accountability in the planning phase? Accountability, I think now that's when it comes to you being able to embrace what really you've not achieved and what you've achieved. Like, let's talk, you are planning maybe to start a business by the end of the month, maybe January, and then maybe something happened along the way, you didn't accomplish what you had planned for. You can be able now to identify what exactly you can be able to identify really what made you not be able to achieve that thing that you had planned. And at times maybe that January comes to an end and God helped you to start up the business that maybe you had as an idea, you'll also be able to appreciate it. Like, I think, or maybe I've misunderstood your question. I don't know. I don't know, but I think I've responded to it if I'm not wrong. Yeah, you can also like have an input towards it. I'm also here to learn. Yeah, thank you. So I was talking about gratitude, and in this case, I'm gonna talk about gratitude jazz and also a gratitude book. I've seen people out here advising you to have a gratitude jar. I've seen people out here talking about gratitude books, and some people will actually follow it because the people who talked about it were great influencers, and you just like own a gratitude jar, but you don't know exactly how it works. You maybe bought a gratitude book and you also don't know how it works. Maybe I'm going to just talk about it from how I really understand it. I also remember making a mistake of buying a gratitude jar back in 2020 I bought a jar, but I didn't understand how it worked. I just bought it because people were buying it, and everyone was like, "This is my gratitude jar." So I also bought it, but I didn't know how it worked. So along the way, I got to understand how this thing really works. And also, when it comes to a gratitude book, I bought it and I also didn't use it the whole of 2023. I didn't know how it works. So basing on how okay, from my mistakes, I'm going to maybe explain on it. Yeah. So gratitude is it's one of a major grounding practice that you can actually put to consideration. It's one that trains the mind to notice a stability even when life feels uncertain mostly, and it just doesn't deny anyone pain. It coexists with the pain that maybe we encounter. So the difference, okay, I don't know if there is a, okay, there is a difference between a gratitude book and a gratitude jar. A jar is now the one that you have to get a container, and maybe you can be putting in what you can be writing, just a simple thing that maybe you've achieved or not achieved, and maybe being thankful for it. And a gratitude book is a book, it's not a jar. I think that I've not explained yet, so let me just quickly talk about a gratitude jar. And it's basically a simple but a very powerful tool. It's a jar that most of us really get. And each day or maybe each week, you write one thing that you are thankful for. Mostly, it's not just the big things that you're thankful for, but it's even the small moments that maybe you're appreciating. You can be appreciating a conversation, or maybe a quiet morning, or even just a completed task. Maybe you wanted to achieve something by the end of the day and you did it, so you can write about it. And over time, this jar becomes a bigger evidence that your life holds more than hardship, if I'm not wrong. And now, when it comes to a gratitude book, it even goes deeper. It's a powerful tool again. And this is now where most people will start writing in reflections of what you've learned, and what else? You write in again the reflections of maybe what has sustained you and what you're actually carrying. You understand? And mostly you can also again write what you are releasing. So it's kind of versatile compared to a gratitude jar. And in difficult days, these books becomes actually a reminder to you that you have survived something. You've survived a hardship before. Yeah. So gratitude most importantly teaches us on the mind stability, on how our mind gets to be stable enough, and it teaches us on the heart perspective. So that is actually what I wanted to tackle when it comes to gratitude jar, and you can still find yourself a gratitude jar and also a gratitude book. And for me, I find a gratitude book more important compared to a gratitude jar, as to how I came to understand these two things on how they work. So with you having a vision board, with you getting yourself okay, you having a vision board, you having a vision plan, you getting yourself a gratitude book or even a gratitude jar, you also need to remember the creator. the person that you believe in. And for me as a Christian, I'm not that indoctrinated, but for me as a believer, I believe in God. And you can't like create a vision board, you can't like use scriptures when you don't believe in God. So at times now, let me just talk about faith, the way your faith carries you into doing all this. So faith is not meant to be more performative or maybe say distant. It's meant for us to be able to live quietly, and also it helps us to be consistent, and it it helps us to be so honest with our own selves. Aim to do good. The thank yous extended to you can be what fuels you to push on when discouragement sets in. That's true. Yeah. Thank you so much, AD. What was I saying? hmm I was talking about drawing next to God. And drawing close to God doesn't always look like long prayers. Sometimes you can find yourself just saying a word that God will hear. And it also doesn't mean that you need to like be so perfect or maybe use perfect words for you to be able to be seen as someone who has drawn to God. No. Sometimes drawing to God looks like meditation, it looks like silence. Yeah, silence, if I'm not wrong. It also it looks like journaling. At that free time that you have, you just can journal something. And at times it looks like admitting doubt, the little doubt that you had in yourself, and you kind of come to admit it. It's also like a one way that you've drawn yourself close to God. And at times it's drawing to God at times looks like confusion. It also looks like fatigue. You can, along the way, get tired. You can as well find yourself being so confused. That is just like what it means to you, by you drawing next to God. So basically, drawing to God doesn't mean you just praying long prayers. It doesn't mean you reading the Bible every now and then. It doesn't mean you being a perfectionist for you to be able to please Him. It's drawing to God involves both the hits and also the misses. And God mostly is not intimidated by the questions that you ask. At times things might not be going on well, and you kind of start questioning God. He doesn't get intimidated. It's very normal to you for you to question God. It's okay for you to question God. It's also normal for you to always thanking God constantly. So mostly God is not offended by how you're honest to yourself, or how you're true to yourself. And with this now, faith even becomes more practical when it informs how you live, when it also informs like how you rest, when it informs how you forgive people, or how you hope for something that is about to happen. You understand? And especially when life doesn't really make sense. As I've told you, even in the book of Job, Job himself encountered this and he kept on thanking God. He also questioned God at a point, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. The great kings in the Bible have questioned God so many times. So it is okay for you to question him when things at times are not working. And you don't have to forsake, you don't have to leave him because things are not working. Keep on trusting in him. So in as much as you're going to draft that vision plan, you're going to draw a vision board, always trust in God, and always know that God will always at times keep you waiting. And remember that delay is not denial. He'll keep you waiting because maybe he had better plans for you. Yeah. God always does things beyond human understanding. And also, I want us to talk about the self respect and the relationships that you're building out here. So, as you grow, you also begin to understand that not everyone around you deserves the same level of access to you. Now, this is when I've been speaking about boundaries last year, and it's not bitterness mostly, it's about wisdom. And healthy relationships and conversations are built on mutual respect, on emotional safety again, And when these kind of relationships constantly drain you, you feel that you're being drained by a certain relationship that you're in, or maybe you get yourself confused in these relationships or friendships, or even at a point you find yourself diminishing yourself, your sense of self. You find yourself even questioning how you look. You also need to like be able to reflect on the kind of friendship that you got yourself in. So remember that it's worth reflecting on this kind of people's places in your life. You need to like, you can as well cut off these negative energies, do away with them. Just choose you and always remember that you matter a lot. So self-respect is mostly revealed in quiet decisions, the moments that maybe you're having those long moments or the long times. It also comes with what you entertain and what you tolerate and what you don't tolerate, and also it's uh, it's determined by what you walk away from, and what you okay it also is determined by the boundaries you set without explaining yourself. So yeah, we've spent 36 minutes. I think I should be ending this from here. If you need to talk to me, I have my email attached to my description on my bio. Let me say that. There is also my contact, my WhatsApp contact. You can really get me through it. You can also call me. I pick calls. So yeah. So as we step in this year that already we've stepped in, my hope for you or my faith for you is that you just need to know that it's not gonna again be a perfect year, or let it just be a one grounded year for you that is going to make you get centered and structured. A year that It's a year that you're going to live with intention. Actually a year where your habits will support your peace, and it's also a year that is going to boost your faith, studies, and it's going to be a year when answers at times are going to be delayed, and also a year that is going to be of fulfillment. Drawing to God, you lead by praise and thanksgiving while avoiding having a transaction like relationship with God. Thank you. True. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. So thank you for being here with me. Thank you for joining my very first live stream in the year 2026. And if this space added value to you, or maybe the live stream was impactful to you, kindly support me by subscribing to my channel. And you can as well share my links to other people who needs to listen to this, and let's walk through this journey together, the journey of doing weekly episodes with you. And I'm also going to try and see if I'm going to be doing weekly live streams again. So yeah, may you grow gently, may you grow wisely, and also make wise decisions out here. I pray God helps you draw your vision plans and vision boards and make them successful. So may your life reflect fully on healing and also fully on self discovery. Until next, see you. Bye. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year. Thank you so much. Bye. See you next.